the ritual that let the dead breathe death. To the ancient Egyptians, was not the end. It was a problem, a terrible interruption. Because in their world, the soul did not simply vanish. It lingered. It waited. It depended on the body it had just left behind. And if that body failed, the soul would suffer. Imagine believing that eternity required maintenance, that forever depended on preparation, that a single mistake in ritual could condemn you to infinite silence. In ancient Egypt, they feared one fate more than death itself. They feared awareness without function. To them, the worst horror was not non-existence. It was existing, unable to breathe. Inside tomb chambers lit only by flickering torchlight, a strange and sacred ritual unfolded. A priest stepped forward, his hands steady, his voice low. Before him lay the wrapped body of the deceased, bound in linen, preserved with oils and resin, prepared for eternity. But the body was still incomplete. The mouth was closed, the senses were sealed. And without the senses, the soul could not survive the next world. This was the moment of the opening of the mouth. A curved ceremonial tool, known as the peseshkaf, was lifted toward the still face of the dead. Slowly, deliberately, the priest touched the lips, then the eyes, then the ears. Sacred words were spoken, older than dynasties, older than pyramids. In that moment, something extraordinary was believed to happen. The dead could breathe again. The ancient Egyptians believed the human soul was not a single thing. It was divided into parts. The ka, the life force. The ba, the personality that could move between worlds. And the ark, the transformed spirit that could shine among the gods. But these parts depended on the body. Without an open mouth, the ka could not receive offerings of bread and beer left by the living. Without open eyes, the ba could not navigate the afterlife. Without restored senses, the soul would wander hungry, blind, and silent. Think about that fear. Not fire, not judgment, but suffocation in darkness. The opening of the mouth was not symbolic theater. It was survival. In tomb paintings, we see priests wearing the mask of Anubis, the jackal-headed god of embalming and protection. They stand beside the mummy, tools in hand, performing precise gestures. Archaeologists have found the ritual instruments buried alongside pharaohs, including in the tomb of Tutankhamun. These were not decorations. They were necessary equipment for eternity. And here is what makes it even more unsettling. The ritual was not performed only on bodies. It was also performed on statues. Because the Egyptians understood something terrifying about time. Bodies decay. Even the best preservation fails. So they created backups. If the body were damaged, the soul could inhabit a statue. But only if that statue had undergone the same ritual. Only if its mouth had been opened. They engineered immortality with redundancy. Spiritual fail-safes against cosmic disaster. Imagine standing in a sealed chamber beneath tons of stone. Your organs have been removed. Your heart has been weighed against the feather of Ma'at. Your body wrapped tighter than armor. And yet everything depends on one final act. A blade touches your lips. Words echo through the chamber. In the belief of those present, your lungs fill with invisible air. Your voice returns. You are no longer trapped. You can speak the spells required to pass the guardians of the underworld. You can breathe the air of the field of reeds. You can eat, drink, and exist. Without this ritual, eternity would not be paradise. It would be paralysis. Modern minds often dismiss such ceremonies as primitive superstition. But consider the psychology. The Egyptians were not obsessed with death. They were obsessed with continuity. They built monuments that defied erosion, They mapped the stars with astonishing precision. And when confronted with the terror of death, they did not surrender to mystery. They designed a system. Every gesture in the opening of the mouth had meaning. Touching the eyes restored sight, so the deceased could witness the gods. Touching the ears restored hearing, so prayers from the living could still be received. Touching the mouth restored speech, so the soul could declare its innocence in the hall of judgment. This was not blind ritual. It was cosmic preparation. In a way, the ceremony reveals something deeply human. We still fear what they feared. We fear being forgotten. We fear being trapped. We fear silence. The difference is that they believed they could solve it. They believed that with enough care, enough precision, enough sacred words, death could be managed, controlled, engineered. Perhaps that is why their civilization endured for over 3,000 years.